Every scam has two parts, a convincing lie and someone who thinks that it's legit.
Right, and the tension there is who's at fault. It's clearly not an easy endeavor. Welcome to the show on Online Fraudsters. Well, just recently we discussed how people have been scammed in the name of job opportunities abroad, eventually leading to human trafficking and exploitation. So today, let's look at the Yahoo schemes, one of the most notorious scams of our time, also known as 419. My name is Fatou Muloshi.
And I'm Rachel Ndwati. And I was wondering, Fatou talked about 419 last time.
Yes.
And I was wondering, what is this?
What did you find?
So I looked it up and I realized that it has something to do with the Nigerian, criminal code. It was derived in those times when, Nigerians used to use scamming as a way to be fraudulent and also all these things.
It's actually a felony, that prohibits using deceitful means to induce people into giving you money or property. And it's actually punishable by up to 7 years in prison, depending on the gravity of the act. I mean, I don't know if you know this because, well, you're from East Africa, but for those of us from West Africa we were watching a lot of Nigerian movies. Nigerians actually did a whole movie on 419. It's called 419 Master.
I better watch it.
Yes. And
I better watch it.
I remember the song is something like, I go chop your dollar.
I go chop your dollar.
Disappear. So you be the mumu, I be the master, you be the loser.
I've heard this song. It glorifies the scamming industry in
the whole
Nigeria.
Scamming scheme.
But that's so interesting. I mean, we grew up watching Nigerian films and we saw, songs about this as well.
Yes.
But Nigeria is very interesting.
That is why we want to know, have you been scammed before? Victor went into the streets of Nigeria to find out.
I've been scammed in 3 ways. So the first one is on WhatsApp. How it happened was like 2K to get 5K. So I actually tried 5K to get 10K. And when I sent the 5K, the person was like, I should send another 2K. So you'll be able to help me process it. I foolishly sent it. Then that's how my 7,000 naira went.
But I have a friend that he was scammed. Yeah, he bought like data from one guy online. When he sent the money, the guy called him back that he won't be able to do that exact amount, that is too small, that he should send another one. The guy sent again. So it was like the third time that he was now like, he now told me, guy, they are scamming you. He said it's a lie, it can't be possible. So he tried calling the guy and the guy didn't pick again. So that's how his money and everything went. So
you see something, you pay for it, and after payment, the person ghosts you off, I reported the account, because I did it via transaction. I reported the account, and after some time, I didn't hear anything. I just had to let it go.
I was chatting with someone, so I just said, let me quickly check something and just come back to WhatsApp. Then I just see my WhatsApp account has been spammed. I didn't know what was happening. Although I shared my link to some of my friends, shared some posts. Like I lost my contact, so then when I changed my phone, and I was able to recover it back.
Oh my days. Things happen, you know. They happen on WhatsApp, on Instagram, but social media was just recently.
Yeah.
It goes way back to, Yahoo days.
Story.
Yeah, Yahoo days. Back then we were all using Yahoo accounts.
Yeah.
There was Gmail. I don't know if it existed at the time, but Yahoo was the thing.
Yeah, I mean, in Nigeria, I think it was mostly email. In Kenya, we had M-Pesa way back.
Way back.
Way back. M-Pesa comes from way back. So we used to see, this mobile money apps being used to extort people. And in Kenya, we have this prison that's called Committee Maximum Prison. And in this prison, people are really notorious to conducting scams. They even collaborate with the prison warders.
But how do they do it?
Well, I mean, in prison, there's always the people who have and the have-nots. So the people who are more, they've stayed there, they know the system, then they're able to, extort, and they even get like internet, mobile money as well.
So you see now, it takes various forms. Because I remember back in the day when these people would send emails, posing as a wealthy old man who apparently needs someone to inherit their wealth. and I'm just there wondering, how is it possible that out of the lot, I'm this lucky person who is going to be the inheritor of this particular wealth. And a lot of people fell for these scams. So it just started as, these random emails that grew up and became this huge global system of fraudsters. And people have gone to prison for this because we're talking about a very pragmatic and a systematic system here.
And sometimes you're even just chilling, minding your own business, and then you're told, you get an email, you get an email in your room, just like Samson does in this video.
While millions of people sleep through the night, somewhere in the world, a message is quietly written. This morning, I received one of those messages, an email claiming to be from a Nigerian prince, a stranger offering millions of dollars in exchange for a little help moving money out of the country. So I started asking myself, how does a message like this actually convince people? This is my own fictional prince, Samson, the Nigerian prince. It's a mock-up created with AI. And to become a Nigerian prince, you really need only 3 things: a face, a title, and of course, a story that people might believe. Most scam messages follow a similar pattern: a dramatic story about money trapped in a foreign account and a stranger who needs your help to move it. After you received the email and you respond, you are already stepping into the trap. Another common tactic is introducing additional characters: a supposed lawyer and a bank official. But these characters are often part of the same story, just to scam you. The same prince is acting as the lawyer and at the same time is also acting as a bank official. Eventually, the story reaches a turning point. The money is ready to be transferred, but suddenly a problem appears: taxes, processing fees, or legal documents that require payment. And that is when victims are asked to send money. Understanding these scams may be the first step to avoiding them.
That's so interesting, That's really creative. And I'm also wondering, how does a scammer think? Because these people are very intelligent. And it doesn't mean that you lack intelligence when you're scammed or you fall prey to scamming.
We have to be very fair to people, because if you fall a victim here, for example, the first thing people say is, how did it happen? First of all, if someone poses as a prince, who does not like a prince?
Hey, especially in Nigeria, we have this, we know that there's princes,
we know that they have
there's
princes.
Royalty, and we've seen this deception. We've seen people claiming that they're from the royal family and trying to
So it's playing
you.
with people's emotion, because if that person poses as a prince and says, well, they have so and so wealth that they want to, for example, share with you, but first you need to, pay for the transaction fee, someone might easily fall for that. Someone who doesn't know the strategy that we are talking about here. But someone will sit there and say, well, that's good for you because you are gold diggers. Who doesn't love gold?
Hey, who doesn't love gold? And the thing is the shape that it forms. Sometimes they're even a prince who wants to make you fall in love with them.
I mean, they come in various forms. And since we're talking about Yahoo in Nigeria, let's also go to Ghana now and explore the Sakawa, because they also have a similar undertaking that is focused on romance scams. But this time it goes even deeper and a lot more darker.
Let's see.
Hey, Rachel and Fatou. Now, what if I told you, ladies, that you probably might be under a hex right now? You're thinking, me? Hexed? Not possible. But have you heard about the word Sakawa? What does internet fraud and black magic have to do with each other? If you're probably thinking nothing, well, sorry to break it to you, but you're wrong. Sakawa is portrayed on social media as a way for young people, some of them, to get out of poverty, to get a better life, and for the practitioners to be able to pop bottles in the club. On one level, it is internet fraud using fake profiles, business and romance scams. On another level, it feeds off frustration with unemployment, inequality, and the sense that the system is stacked against young people. Scammers typically target people abroad using fake profiles, emotional manipulation, and deceptive offers in a bid to extract money from them. In many ways, Sakawa is like cybercrime. The main difference is the use of black magic. Some of the practitioners believe that would help them increase the chances of scoring with their victims. And it's probably worse than what I just demonstrated. But there's no evidence that magic makes any difference. This is the context in which Sakawa is often discussed. Many young people, however, are indifferent or at worst, sympathetic to the practice. Their biggest question remains, where are the jobs? Lately, however, law enforcement has been pushing back. There has been long prison sentences and arrests of offenders in Ghana and other West African countries. So perhaps it is time to ask, what is driving young people into this practice? And what needs to change to make it less attractive?
Hey, that's deep.
It's a lot.
That's deep. You know, Fatou, I was afraid.
Wait, you were so scared.
I was a bit, because like in East Africa we don't have this, but I've watched the West African movies, and when I was a child I was always afraid of, Nigerian, Ghanaian films, because they always had this
so dark.
So unpack that for me, please.
No, I mean, this is very interesting there. The use of traditional beliefs to boost their chances. Very interesting. I mean, when we look at the issue of Sakawa and how they're talking about, I mean, it's mostly romance scams, where someone is sitting somewhere in Ghana, for example, and scamming someone overseas mostly. Because, imagine getting the dollars or the pounds over. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot.
So you first have to pose, as this attractive woman, and most times a man pretending to be a woman. And they build this emotional connection, hack into these emotions until you now start trusting them. And in the process, they now, start complaining about maybe medical bills, someone in the family needs assistance.
But do they scam people? Do they scam people in Ghana particularly, or do they scam people also like outside of Ghana?
It's around the world, actually. It's around the world. And I remember DW did this documentary on Sakawa, and one of the Sakawa boys was saying that, well, he is very happy to be scamming, Western women because colonialists came into our countries.
And, taking back
looted our resources. So this is a form of reparation and claiming back what belongs to us.
So they justify it. Yeah,
so imagine, having some sort of justification for what's being done there. But of course, that's just one aspect of it. It's important to also understand what people think about these scams as well.
Stars, Yahoo Boys. We've all heard about them.
I feel it's a bad thing. I'm not encouraging them, but it's a good thing because they tend to help the economy in Nigeria as well, because in clubs, money circulates through clubs and it goes to the society. Nigeria is what it is, man. So I don't actually think I'll blame anybody who is into internet fraud or anything like that.
There is no work. They feel like they should just go towards that way, and so that for them to enrich themselves.
It's very interesting.
It's a full-time job.
I mean, in Africa, people don't usually question success.
No.
It is often celebrated. So it doesn't matter where this money comes from, as long as the family is happy, people around you are happy, and life is good. Everyone is happy and enjoying themselves. I remember when I moved to the West, and people were asking about certain things. What job does this person do? I was wondering, you don't ask that in Africa. Like, no one cares. You don't ask about people's jobs.
No one cares. I think that's very similar, because in Uganda we had something called Operation Modus Operandi. So this operation was really filled with, men who come along, they put themselves on a dating app. You download the dating app thinking, you want to look for love. But you know what? The person there just wants to exploit you. They love bomb you like crazy.
Look at that.
And then after a few weeks, they're like, let's get married. And
would the marriage happen?
Yes. Okay. But here's where it got interesting. Like after the marriage happens, this guy then starts extorting you. And we can clearly see it, like the nature of this, Yahoo Boys or the modus operandi people, the way they are, they come to you very charismatic, very charming, and they talk to you and they tell you, if you're looking for love, come to me. But I wonder whether they also sleep at night. Because
that's the thing, they don't sleep at night. We've got someone say that it's a 24/7 job for them.
But in the sense of the guilt, because if you're extorting people, you really know you're taking advantage of them. Do you really sleep at night?
So it's a full-time job, and some people in fact learn it as a skill.
Started when I dropped out of school due to no available funds to finance the school. My dad was very, very ill. He had stroke and diabetes, then the BP, everything was just there. I had a couple of friends, we grew together, we were talking. I saw changes in them now. Like, I know that, yes, they are doing the street work now. I spoke to them, they were like, okay, if I'm ready, me, I'll be their guy that will pull me through. What I do, my kind of work I do, is dating. And I'm a lady, I'm not a real lady, I'm just a fiction lady. There are some men who are there just to do their rubbish and all that. So those are the people I know that, yeah, I deal with. I don't deal with all these old people like pensioners and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't go after those people. I go after men I know that wants to flirt, you get. So I don't give a f about how they feel. As a Yahoo guy, you need to be online 24/7. Every day, every minute, every second, every hour counts. My biggest fear. Nobody wants to go to jail, regardless of what we are doing. No, I don't have a choice. I have tried. Where I was working was sold. If not, there would be my backup plan, yeah? I know they asked for much. $1 million. Just one. I'm okay. If my dad is in front of me right now, and he knows what I'm doing, like right now, I'm seeing him face to face like this. Of course, my dad will feel very bad now. No father will be happy of what his son is doing when he knows he's bad. My dad is retired, ex-police. Once the system is better, life is easy. If everything is going fine, I wouldn't be doing this shit. I will work for my money. I'm not lazy.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Who doesn't want $1 million?
Everyone wants $1 million, by the way.
I wish it were that easy, though.
But the thing is, he says, I don't ask for that much. For that much. And then he ends up saying $1 million, guys.
I just don't know where this kind of cognitive rationalization stems from. There's this sort of dissonance that steeps so deeply. And I think one has to understand it fully because I don't know at what level does this kind of disconnect with one's moral conscience steep in. Yeah. And then it goes far too deep that whatever the person does is seen as justifiable because he's saying that he does not scam anyone. He scams men who are online and flirting with women.
Sounds a bit like gaslighting to me because it's like trying to prove that somebody did something when they actually didn't do it.
But that's the thing, because scam or ham does not discriminate. It does not matter if the person is online and does not have much to do with their time. It does not matter if it's an old person who has money that they probably need to share with people because they don't have anyone to inherit
somebody
them.
Somebody who's actually going through a lot to earn that money. Yeah. But now we have to come to the point of the victims and stop with the whole victim shaming and come back to, talking about how people can deal with this issue. Yeah. And, Julius in Uganda went into the depths of Uganda to understand how victims are coping with this issue. Have a look.
Daniel Leonard Turiasingura borrowed and invested in cryptocurrency with high hopes.
I saw myself driving, having mansions in every city of Uganda.
Daniel lost over $3,500 to one coin, a fake cryptocurrency linked to Ruja Ignatova, a Bulgarian-born fugitive with German citizenship.
I invested half personal savings and also had 3 goods to sell. So I told my dad that he could actually invest all his life savings.
Ruja Ignatova is among the world's most wanted fugitives. She is accused of defrauding victims of more than $4 billion globally, including Ugandans. Police in Kampala have also placed her on their wanted list.
If Roger is being looked for by the Republic of Germany, or United States, and is on Interpol's red list, it becomes a wanted person in all cooperating countries under the Interpol framework.
Across the world, millions are drawn in by promises of quick and easy returns. Many are reached through social media. Shalom lost nearly $300 to a scam called USDT Invest.
They're going to let you test a little bit of the money. You understand? And then when you test, you get trapped, that you want to have more because it's sweet.
Today, she supports Daniel in the fight against such scams, helping people around the world.
There is this woman in particular in Mexico that was almost losing her money, her life savings, into a certain crypto scam called Platinum Coin. So she saw me speak about it on YouTube, creating videos about it. And she was like, she reached out in my inbox. She was going to invest in $7,000.
Shalom says many victims of online scams choose to remain silent.
She laughed actually at me and she's like, how can you trust someone randomly you just met on the internet with money or something like that?
Police say that speaking out is a key to breaking the cycle.
Bring the thing out, mention it, so that we really tackle the problem.
Daniel's door to quick money closed. Now he is opening a new one, focused not on making money, but on helping others keep theirs.
I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And you just heard the person say, you know, how they were being questioned. Why? How did you fall for that? But at the end of the day, I think it's more complicated than that. And
it really is.
Yeah, people have needs. And depending on at what point the person is, they can be very vulnerable. But if you don't also talk about it, like the official said, how can they even start investigating the matter?
Yeah. I mean, even if you look at the psychological perspective behind that, especially, you know, somebody can be having a bad day that day. They're not maybe super conscious to know that I'm being scammed, and they just end up falling vulnerable or preying onto these things.
Let's also see what other countries are doing about this. Let's go back to Ghana, because we mentioned Sakawa in the beginning. And it will be interesting to see what the authorities there are doing, but also what other people around the world are doing about that, in case you haven't heard.
If you haven't heard something wild today, here is one. Ghana just arrested over 1,200 people for faking online love. President John Mahama says he's sending romance scammers abroad for prosecution. Not just local jail time, no, actual extradition. Internet is exploding right now over recent news from Germany, where police arrested 11 Nigerians believed to be members of the notorious criminal gang known as Black Axe. This gang, with a reported membership of around 30,000 worldwide, is known globally for engaging in crimes like this, and this. In Germany, they focused mainly on online dating scams and money laundering. Black Axe is known to disguise their activities as charitable work through an organization known as the Neo-Black Movement of Africa. They also have a significant influence on Nigerian politics and administration. Should Nigerians be blamed for the actions of a few people?
Before we get into that Black Axe thing, obviously, let's unpack what Favor said about like the crackdown by, you know, Ghanaian government to crack down on these scammers. And, you know, I was thinking, and I was reading other laws in other places. For example, like Singapore, people get caned. You know, you're caned publicly with a cane, and you're told, you know, you can't do this anymore. And I think it's about time that our governments also take this thing seriously, especially when it comes to scamming.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about it is something that happens between cross borders, you know? It's like it's difficult to trace sometimes.
No laws.
If a scammer can even sit in, for example, Ghana and use a computer to scam someone in another country and then transfer the money in another country, then it means
it's hard to track that.
Yeah, there needs to be like collaborated efforts across nations, between institutions and governments, to find a way, you know, to track down fraudsters, but also just illegal money. And of course, I know in the beginning we said that where we come from, it's not always easy to ask people what you do. I know sometimes it comes from a very good place, because you don't know whether someone is doing a job that they are not so proud of. But I think, sometimes we just have to be on the lookout. And if you feel that something is wrong, just raise an alarm.
Yeah,
you know?
and also get away from the culture of not questioning authority, because I feel like in our cultures, we normally have this authority bias that we keep, you know, believing in. You can't question an authority. If somebody poses to you as a lawyer or as a, you know, fake judge, fake politician, Prince, hey, Prince, you're not even going to question whether this person is actually legit. So I think we need to, you know, there's information out there, there's the internet, you can always Google, and you can also talk to your, you know, family and friends, because scammers always tend to isolate people.
Of course. And then when you feel that you're being scammed, or in fact, when you're being defrauded, report it. Because who knows, maybe they're looking for this particular scammer somewhere, and these reports can really help establish the case. Maybe when the funds get, you know, recovered, but you might even gain what you've lost back. Who knows?
The $1 million.
But if you don't report, how can you establish your case?
Yeah.
So we have to be, it's not easy. You cannot always tell that someone who is rich and popping bottles in the club is a scammer. No, that's not the case. But we're saying if you are a victim and you feel you're being scammed, report it so that at least this can be easily traceable as well.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, before we leave you, on the 77%, we're always talking real stories, big issues, and the conversations shaping African youth.
But if you want even more insight and solutions, then may we suggest to you Step Under the Baobab, DW Africa's weekly podcast where sharp minds and change makers tackle some of Africa's biggest challenges. Hosted by Mimi Mefoneu and George Okachi.
It's where experts and everyday change makers come together to break things down. No jargon.
No filters.
Just powerful conversations that move Africa forward. And we like that.
2 shows, 1 mission. So follow, watch, and listen. Be a part of the conversation. See you next time.
Bye.